Hello, ladles and gentle spoons. Today we have an interview with one of the original 25 magic artists, Drew Tucker. Drew is a cool guy, and I think you will see that as I talk to him. His fine art pieces may give pause to the modern player, but if you take some time to metacognate, you will see that they reveal a lot more about themselves than at first glance. Just a friendly reminder that Concepts and Legends is an official TCG Player affiliate. If you want to buy any RPG or trading cards, such as Drew's, just click the affiliate link listed below the video. You get the cards you want, and it helps us bring you better videos. And any of your help is greatly appreciated. And now, let's get to the interview.
Now, thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate this a lot.
Oh, no problem. It's my pleasure.
So I guess we'll do the real original question, starting off with how did you get started with art in the first place? Earliest times that you got into it.
Oh man. Okay, so this is like you probably hear it like all the time, but like that's all I've ever done, I think. Like as like a little kid, but like all little kids are drawing art, right?
Everybody says that, but you guys, there's a differentiating point for all of you where
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no. Like I used to like, yeah, I would always draw. My parents, it's like the 70s or whatever, so they can leave you. They'd leave for hours and I'd still be drawing the same thing. But legitimately in like fourth grade, I would sell drawings on the schoolyard for people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then
the recreation,
Christmas, I'd make like Christmas tags and stuff, and I'd go around the neighborhood and stuff and try to like hawk those. So I guess kind of weirdly, I've been doing illustrations since I was a little kid, not knowing it. I mean, like, but yeah, like that's kind of what I was doing.
I mean, didn't you do naughty pictures? You sold the naughty ones in school, and they'd
like rip pages out of their dad's Playboys, and they'd give them to me at recess, and so yeah, I'd take them home, I'd draw them, and then I'd come back and they'd give me a couple of bucks, and then they'd get in like a whole lot of trouble because their dads would notice.
Right, and then keep them.
Yeah, but yeah, like yeah, I had always been like, I guess I've just always been drawing and stuff. So like really young age. You make like little picture books and things like that when you're little too, or at least I did.
When you got now I know that you got your bachelor's, then you went to get your master's, and you were under sort of seen over by Marshall Arisman.
Yeah, and at School of Visual Arts in New York, he was the head of the program, or he still is. And then there's and so that was really cool because sorry, I haven't talked to anybody for like a year, I think. It's stuff. Yeah, like when like when I was a little kid and I was doing those like little drawings for people, on the back of the magazine was usually like an Arisman picture. He did a lot of stuff. I mean, I lost it, but like, yeah, he a lot of his illustration work was on the back of like pages people would rip out and give to me,
right, like he did art for Playboy.
Weird connection, and like, and so when I got the opportunity, I went to study there, which was nice. It was maybe I didn't like milk all the opportunity I could have, but like, yeah, it was an awesome.
How would you say he influenced you as an artist?
Oh man, that's a good question. Definitely, like I think especially at that time period, like definitely style to some way, but like this idea of having like being able to have like a personal voice or an emotional voice in a illustration piece, so it kind of like bridges this like fine arty and like informative information that like illustration gives you, right? So I think in the most part that's a lot like what I take out of like from Marshall Arisman. Is because you can like I don't know, especially my early stuff, like was very, it was almost like paintings of emotions or whatever. So I think that's like how it like it's been described as like kind of more fine arty.
Yeah.
Like if I think about it, if I want to be fair, and I think that's what was happening because I was more interested in people, having the feeling, eh, as opposed to literally everything. So like in my head, if a spell was cast, right? Like, yeah, I wanted that feeling that like, oh, this is what's gonna happen. I don't know if that like makes any like weird sense.
No, it makes sense. And then so you got into magic from, I guess, one of your classmates was Sandra Everingham, was, if I'm
Sandra,
pronouncing.
yeah, that's exactly right at Cornish in Seattle.
And
Is where I got my bachelor's, right?
and so
Um,
what do you think? I mean, she approached you and told you about the game. What do you think it was that made her choose you? I mean, it
oh,
obviously.
I think they were looking for all sorts of different voices and different types of fantasy work, right? They weren't with, I don't think like Jesper or Sandra was looking for, like classical fantasy work. So they were looking for all these different voices. That's why like in the beginning there was all these, like all these different styles being like making magic, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think mine was kind of along that lines. Like, there was something maybe like evocative. I don't know that like, we're like, oh yeah, let's try this guy. So I think mainly because yeah, I was doing something different within, some of the same sort of story themes.
You have said that you've come to peace with your role as being a quote unquote controversial artist, which I personally think is kind of bullshit, because there's nothing
Yeah.
really controversial about your art. It's just it is, again, it's more fine art than
Yeah, it's just not traditional illustration,
yeah.
I
And
think is really what the deal is. Because yeah, I'm not like super randy. Um, yeah. Like, yeah, there's nothing like really like big and weird going on. But
but
yeah, it's more fine arty, I think.
but at the same time, you got the attention of Richard Garfield, who
Oh yeah.
now he asked you to paint a card for his wedding that he had done, correct?
Yeah, Phoenix Heart. Yeah.
And that's, I mean, that had to be a real, like, boon to your, like, to your worth as an artist, to have the creator of magic sort of pick
It
you.
was. It was like, yeah, because I don't know, like I just make like I make paintings, right? Like that's in my own head, that's what's going on. I just make a lot of stuff. And then I mean that was a point where I mean I was getting this idea about like, um I guess like the importance of it all, like, how it affected people or affects people. And then yeah, like then when he contacted me to do that, yeah, it was kind of a shock in a way because like yeah, I never really thought it would my stuff. Yeah, I never really thought like outside of that, right? Like of like painting and keep on trying to like make more paintings.
Yeah, because I mean, and you didn't have you hadn't had a relationship with him previously. This was
No, I didn't.
it was a cold
No.
call in a sense. He sort of just
Yeah,
out of the
yeah,
blue.
very much so.
And
Yeah, I was always kind of a lot of the early artists knew each other, right? Like
mhm.
I was kind of always like peripheral, like a peripheral Drew or something like that. Um, so I wasn't like really good friends with any of them until like much later.
And the pieces some of the early pieces that you've done now, you have said that you thought that you think that, or at least you feel like you're a better artist now than you were back then.
Oh God, I hope so. Yeah.
um why do you think that you feel that way about it? Because again, you obviously you didn't get the job because you were bad, you know what I mean?
No,
Like,
no, no, no. I didn't get it because I was bad, but Yeah, and I like a lot of like I really like a lot of that early stuff actually. There was but I, you know, 30 years later, if you continue doing the same thing for 30 years, right, you're gonna get better. Just that sheer practice and understanding and trying to like work it all out improves upon it. And when I was in my 20s, I didn't have a freaking clue what I was doing. Not really, like not like I couldn't probably, you know, like you sit there and go like, oh, this color is going to move in front of this, and if I tweak over here, because you know, in some ways it's a lot of bravado. In the you know, like when I was younger, or like yeah, like when I was in my 20s or whatever, you know, I'm making paintings, and yeah, they're good. They were pretty good paintings and everything, but like it was more driven by yeah, like, kind of like by bravado, I think,
Hmm.
in a way. So like you know, and I didn't necessarily know how to draw very well at that point. I mean, I could draw well, but not like oh man, that's a good drawing.
Well, what would
Like
be like for an example that I love the Dandan artwork, which
oh
is great. It's
yeah,
because you can't I personally I've looked at it before and it didn't take until much later that I was like, oh, there's a giant fish under this boat.
yeah. See, I like that. I think that was like I thought I was super smart when I painted that one.
And is it true that it got stolen from you, the original?
No, it wasn't stolen from me. It was it was being sold. I forgot who bought it actually. I think their name's Will. But I didn't have it at the moment. I think Daniel Chang was selling it to another individual. And so the purchase was made, and he was the guy was in Seattle, right? And he parked his car in like a parking lot.
Hmm.
And somebody busted into his trunk or into his cab,
Oh,
and it took the paintings. Yeah.
oh, so the paintings were ruined in an accident?
No, no, no,
Or
no. They weren't ruined. They were stolen out
oh,
of like a parking garage,
oh, so
right?
it was stolen, but not
Yeah,
from you,
yeah,
not from you personally. It was stolen. It was out of your.
yeah. It was out of my like it was like many years out of my hands.
Oh,
Um,
that's what were there others of yours in there, or was it other
no, it was
painters?
that one. I think there was a couple of other paintings. I'm not sure what they were. And if if I've got the story right, and I'm going to leave out like all sorts of details, frankly.
Hmm.
But I think that they like I kind of think they knew like they left a note, I believe, like a ransom note sort of.
Huh.
But yeah, like nothing that I know of, nothing came about.
Did
Um,
did they ever find out who did it?
no,
I wonder
no.
if it's ever resurfaced. I mean, it can't really resurface again now, can it? Because if it
Well, it
did,
could, I guess, like you know.
but then there would be a way
I
to
hope it
trace.
does. That'd be really cool if it like resurfaced, right?
It would be really cool, but it would also be somebody would have to either be admitting that they bought stolen artwork, which isn't that illegal to do?
That would be like really crappy. I was hoping like it would like somehow come up at like the Goodwill or something,
Yeah, that'd
which
be.
would like you know, but that would be so cool. Because that painting's life would become like even bigger than it is. I mean, it's kind of neat that it got stolen, and I don't really know if they knew what they had, you know, but like leaving a note.
They left a note. That
And
means they knew
yeah,
what they
that
had.
indicates something, right? Like,
And
but
if
yeah,
it
like
was,
I can only hope like in 5 years it bubbles up out, you know, out of like this S
it'd be, well, if
pool.
you're out there watching this, just, you probably won't get sued or put in jail.
Yeah,
Probably. I'm not a lawyer, but
yeah, no, I think that's a felon. Like,
yeah, it is. I
yeah,
think
yeah,
still, like if you buy something that is like, and you know it's stolen, that's got to be illegal, at least in the United States.
yeah, yeah, and like within like fine art market, I because there's other cases I think of other people, but yeah, yeah, that's a big crime to like steal artwork and stuff.
Yeah, and then I guess the other thing that happened to you is the crazy Plateau story, which that was an interesting sort of thing where they put the incorrect information on the cards, and
Yeah.
and it seems like you have with that and the art being stolen, you have a very I'd say a controversial like past in the sense that there is a lot going on that's behind the scenes drama for you with
Yeah, like my paintings, I guess. Yeah, but like it wasn't necessarily like, it's not like necessarily drama for me.
but it's attached to you.
Because
It's kind
it's
of
all like
interesting,
after the fact, right?
right?
Like, but I think it's exciting, and it does make like, it kind of makes those paintings important in a way. I mean,
Yeah.
I owe like super much to like Plateau, like that whole reversal. Like, yeah, I probably owe a lot to that.
Do
So
you
yeah.
do you pay attention to the card game and what some of your cards are going for now?
Yeah, yeah, I do.
I mean, City in a
Yeah,
Bottle has blown up.
I know, that's kind of crazy talk.
It's insane.
Um,
It's going for like 1,500 on eBay.
yeah, that is crazy.
Do you have
Like,
any of your old cards?
yeah, I do. Yeah,
That
yeah, I have a couple, like, like I would keep like one or two of my own. Um,
Do you have any originals of your cards left over?
oh, yeah, yeah, I've
You
got like
do?
six, maybe. I've got ooh, blowfly infestation. Like, ones nobody wants, right?
Well, I mean, I
Like,
don't know about that. I mean, I
yeah,
can
I think that
promise you
one's pretty cool. I've got like Merc Dwellers.
that one's great. I love that one.
Yeah, I think I have Ashes to Ashes. I can't remember exactly which ones. Like, without, I'd have to run over into the cabinet and drag them all out.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, yeah, I kept some for like my kids, right?
Hmm.
And then I've just kept some, and kind of like I'm gonna Disney them out if I want to sell them at some point.
Yeah, the
But yeah,
market
like,
is insane for them right now. I mean,
oh, I know, it's like, it's very nice. That's what I think. Like, I mean, that's nice for me, right?
yes. Well, it's. I mean,
Yeah.
it's awesome. I mean, it's got to be it's got to be surreal to be a celebrity when you sort of just like the way you sort of stumbled into it. I mean, obviously you chose the path of an artist, but your career almost like
Yeah,
unfolded in front of you.
I think that's really fair to say. Yeah, because like like even the work I do now, it's so directly related to magic, the stuff that I first did. Um, yeah, I owe so much to it, and it's interesting to, I mean, interesting is not like the right word. It's like flattering even. That like so many people have seen my work, right? Like, and that like Dan stuck with people in their heads, or like, made them like as little kids, like, because yeah, that one I hear a lot of stories about, right? Like how people hadn't seen it. One kid told me that like like for like 5 years he thought Dan meant boat, and then he saw the fish.
That's funny.
Yeah, right. Like, and just to have like that kind of effect, and to have that kind of effect on younger artists, like people that like were looking at my art. Yeah, like it kind of blows my brains. I don't know how to
Like
take that.
I know that you said you don't like Power Leak, but I was actually reading an article where somebody professed that was their piece that got them into magic. Like they were
Oh,
just
shut up, really?
yes, really. And I was like kind of bummed. I was like, that's a cool piece, and it's always so hard. And you're not the only artist that I've talked to that feels this way. That
Yeah.
there's a lot of people, a lot of you guys are really harsh critics to yourselves. And
But yeah, I think it's because like we know what we were. Yeah, it's Power League is so anatomically wonky and wrong. It's got like really cool ideas in it, right? Yeah, and I think it's cool, but like I once tried to do a repaint of it, and I was like, I just couldn't be faithful.
Mhm.
Because yeah, it's so anatomically off that, but I think that's what we see, right? Because you guys see like the end results of
But
what it
not what yet.
is, and like yeah, we can like point out like, oh, this is where I like totally dialed it in right there. Or yeah, and so yeah. I think yeah, maybe we're harsh on it, but I think it's realistic. Like, cause yeah, like yeah.
You do some interesting reconstructions or like
Okay.
revisits of your
Yeah.
paintings. I personally love the new version you did of Dandan even more than the original.
Is it the one that's kind of, oh, which one? Like, I've
Is
done like some of these like almost too many times. Like,
so the one where they're in a boat and you can not really tell that there's a, it looks like it's just part of the skyline, but it's actually an open mouth.
oh yeah. I like that one a lot. I like
That
that one a lot. It's almost kind of like Mark Twain-esque,
yeah, yeah.
with sort of yellowy colors. Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I like that painting a whole bunch.
And you what other of the like what other pieces have you done that you have done a revisit where you think that it's better than the original?
Oh, City in the Bottle.
That one is really
I
cool
did a
too.
City in the Bottle for a gentleman in California that I think is just like, yeah, the absolute best one we've ever done. Yeah, for yeah, Stephen Hines. I really like the one I did for him. Like, and I think that like I think it can be like tracked down easy on the internet. So
Oh yeah, no, I've if I'm asking you about it, I've got images to
yeah,
show.
no, you've done your research. It's like really cool.
Oh no, I got yeah. I mean, to me, there's nothing more offensive than somebody coming into an interview without being prepared. It's like,
Yeah. No, I was surprised that you pulled back to like that I went to SVA or to like Marshall Arisman, or that you knew about like the nudie drawings on the playground.
well, yeah. I mean,
That's
it's great.
awesome.
It's good stuff. I mean, and so that and to like and what's really cool about the revisits is that they are able to show off what you're doing more in a modern sense and how your
Yeah.
style is now.
Yeah,
Um,
they're a lot of fun, especially if you get like a client that allows you to like push beyond what you were like the exactness of what you were doing, because you get those like where you're like, okay, you got to do exactly what you did, and those kind of hurt.
right.
um yeah, but like okay, like yeah, if I was a musician and I had like one super popular song, when I go out, I think I'm going to play that song, right?
Right. You got to play your
um
hits if you have them.
yeah, but it's really nice when somebody lets you like, like kind of like expound off of it, or like and that's a lot of fun.
Um,
um
that's
yeah.
cool. I mean, one that I would be interested to see because now with Time Spiral Remastered coming out,
Oh,
you're
I
you're
know.
you're in there, and so you're gonna be making an
Yeah,
appearance for a whole new generation of Magic players. Um,
yeah, that's kind of cool.
what I think you should do, and I don't know if you've done this, but have you reached out to Wizards of the Coast about the possibility of coming and guest starring in on maybe like an alternate art version of something? Because I can see you being really good stylistically for the alternate art stuff that they're putting out with like the collector's boosters where they feature different types of art as
Oh
opposed to
yeah.
like I think that you should most definitely see if you could get in there because it would be really cool to see you uh, come in again and I think that you original 25 artists have so much nostalgia
Yeah.
and it's really I think that you should go for it. So that's my suggestion. I don't know
Oh
if
no,
you've
no, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. Yeah, I talk to people like off and on. I would love to do like some of the secret layers stuff.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
was like really freaking cool. And I like the themes that they've been running. Um, yeah, yeah, it would be really nice. But yeah, I talk to. I keep on. I'm not like unfamiliar with
Okay.
to the art directors and things. Yeah.
Basil Sliver is that one breaks my heart to
Really,
look
why
at
is that?
because I think that the sliver looks like it is just sort of like it's separated. It's so almost wounded. It has a look of hurt on it, and
Yeah,
the priest behind it is going to kill it, and it's
yeah.
alone and it's separated from the hive. And it was for the first time I was like, I feel bad for the sliver.
I love that. That's a great read.
I mean, it's
Yeah, I
so
really like
sad.
that read.
What was that something that was intentional, or was that?
I want to like, let's say it was, but no. Um, but yeah, of course it was, sure.
Oh yes.
Um, no, 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 it wasn't. I can't actually, I can't like on some of the paintings. I can remember exactly what I was thinking about. That one I was really concerned with the dagger,
Mhm.
right? And I actually getting the idea of the sliver right. But like narratively, I don't know. Like I I'm gonna say yes. That's exactly what I was thinking, but no, no, it wasn't.
Do you think that you can unconsciously do that? Do you do that as artists? Maybe put an emotion in that you weren't aware that you were doing at the time, and then you look back at it and say, "Oh, that's what I was
Probably.
doing."
If I think like I mean, I weirdly work like somewhat organically. I have to supply a rough, in a drawing and everything, but be like, this is what I'm going to do. But a lot of the times, I myself, I can't speak for other people. I mean, you have an assignment, but then I try to put myself in the shoes of, whatever that narrative is. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
And so like I think having that and trying to have those feelings like brings that sort of attention into like what you're doing. And then like when you have a really strong, clear narrative, like this is exactly the direction I have, that's a little different because yeah, it's like this is how I have to feel. So I think like when it's more open-ended or up in the air, maybe you bring in your own whatever's going on at the moment.
Yeah,
Does
no,
that
I
make
agree.
sense?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
totally. It makes sense. And your art, I think the reason why I think people who say they don't like it, I think it's more that they do not get it, because your stuff requires a bit more of it's sort of like a time release awareness, where it's not going to reveal itself to you immediately upon looking at it, whereas a lot of the other stuff is done like photorealistically, and
Oh,
it's
yeah. Yeah, you know what, like that might be the downfall of my own artwork too, right? Because like illustrations, like, this is what it's about. In mine, like I try to give you this is what it's about, and then I want you to be able to come back later and go like, ooh, and have a second read. Um, I wanted to keep on giving things.
and I think that works out that with you doing that, because it made me do that. And I'm no critic, but your stuff was it sort of took some time to just sit. I had to metacognate on it.
Yeah,
I saw it, and then I saw it again, and I was like, okay, wow, that
that
was
makes
not
me
even
happy.
it. It's good. I mean, it's great because,
Yeah.
and I think that Magic is starting to go back into embracing that now, like with the
Hmm.
newer release, that they they shied away from it because there had to be some sort of like with the style guides and the sort of.
Oh yeah, well, like if this is the way I always thought. I didn't mean to
Oh
interrupt. I'm
no, no.
sorry. But like yeah, like I think in the like in the very beginning of Magic, right? Like there's absolutely no rules to it. It doesn't exist, and so everything's being cobbled together. The world itself. And then, it got to a point where you have definitive stories, you have definitive characters, and you have to, like maintain that really. Uh Also, like there's products later coming out. I think, you have like the Netflix Magic thing. And so like I think they were developing, I think they were like totally developing their world and holding their world. And once you have that and like this understanding, then you can like bring back things like, I mean, like Seb, right? Like Seb
Right.
McKinnon,
Hmm.
or like Nelts. Like both of those guys are like, I think in some ways I am similar to that because they have this emotional tone that's in them.
I think that you guys are from the same sort of like pool, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think so. Yeah, I don't mean to like, yeah, I don't want to like talk out of my space or something, but yeah, like I think there's a resonance in there.
I think so too. I mean, and I don't think it's speaking out of your place. I mean, if you look at the stuff that you learned from your teacher, and there
Yeah.
is there's an influence that happens with artists where you can't not be influenced by.
Oh,
So
exactly.
it's almost like it's a DNA for your art, if that
Yeah,
makes any sense. And
yeah,
so,
no, it does
I
make
mean,
sense.
I think so. I mean, I thought that on the first time looking at it, I didn't even realize, and I really almost thought that your revisited Dandan was a Seb McKinnon,
Oh, see,
and
that's nice.
it's got, but there you go. It's got the Hieronymus Bosch feel to it as
Yeah.
well. So I mean, and who doesn't? You can't not be influenced by him. So
Okay. Yeah. Right. Like.
he's ubiquitous, and so
Yeah.
I think that with that there's definitely that going on, and I think it's very telling, and it is something that I think magic is allowing itself to get back into, because now
Yeah.
there
It's
is.
real nice to see. Actually, I think.
How did you get that Ford mural that I saw on your site? Like, that was crazy.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Right.
so
That was messed up.
how did that happen? I mean, what was that
That
for?
happened. That was like a local like Ford dealer, right? Like so. I mean, big or small, I don't know. I was teaching at Johnny Logan College, so I was the head of the art department,
Hmm.
and the Ford guys, like Marion Ford, right? They had called up. I don't know who they were calling, but they called me up eventually and asked if we wanted to do like a student mural. So I had a couple of students help me, and I probably did most of it, but like uh not to like that was like a slight, but yeah, like they just called up, and so
Did you
I
say the
was teaching, and it was a good example for other people, and it's just fun to paint.
Did you say that somebody from the Ford company, or one of the Fords?
Oh, it's like it was like a Ford dealership,
Okay,
right?
okay,
So
gotcha.
it's not like the Ford company. That would be really cool, but like it was like a local dealership in Southern Illinois where I lived.
I mean, that's a beautiful artwork for a car dealership. I mean, like, whoever ran that place really had an eye for aesthetics, because I don't think
Yeah,
I've ever seen anything that like beautiful in a car
it
dealership.
was stupid big too.
It was
Um,
huge.
I could have maybe smarter done, like worked that thing out a little smarter, but
How do you
yeah,
mean?
it was a lot of fun. It was a long project, kind of.
Oh,
Yeah.
you mean you could have done it in a more timely
Oh,
sense?
like a more intelligent, yeah, fashion there.
I think that that's cool, though. I mean, like, you became a teacher as well, which is great, because you're able to impart wisdom to the young people. And I like to ask this
Yeah.
question a lot. What advice do you have to anybody who's coming up now as a young person who wants to get involved with any sort of artwork?
Oh, good Lord, right? Like, probably don't listen to anybody.
Mm,
Um, it because there's a backhand side where like the arts don't do anything for us, or at least like where I was brought up, and my family was like really supportive, but like amazed that I could do it, that I could get away and like make a living in art. But there it's not necessarily, I think, in our culture pushed as this is a valid thing that you can do. Does it?
no,
I
it's
mean,
not.
even though like arts and like everything, like every form of design, every anything, arts like all over it.
Yeah,
And then like if we think about like entertainment, like it's just like smothered with artists. But
yeah.
but they're like so quiet about it, and so I don't think people like see it as a valid thing all the time, but like that's what I mean by like, yeah, just don't listen. Like if that's what you really want to do, you have to almost like give yourself all into it.
That makes
um,
sense. It's treated. I heard what was it in sort of in Sex and the City, the character Carrie Bradshaw sort of like, as a writer, I'm like, I mean, like, I'm like whipped cream in the world, like, in a sense that people do treat the arts as though it's like a delicious thing that you get, but it's not
yeah.
something nutritious. But it is, because once
Oh
things
yeah.
really go away, it's there's some trouble. Like, when the
Yeah.
movie theaters went out of business because of COVID. I don't know if I'm allowed to say COVID. Probably not.
Yeah.
But
No.
it's sad to realize that, okay, entertainment is something that's crucial, and if we didn't have that, we'd all go bonkers. And the same with art.
Yeah.
It's if you live in a world where it's not there, then you see the necessity of
Oh yeah. Like I can't even really imagine it, but like, if I was like, I actually think that was good advice, but but yeah, it's always just like practice, and then like there's always like, don't compare yourself to other people. That's like really hard, and that's what you're always doing. Um, yeah, there's so much super advice, but I think the legitimate one would just be, like if there's people telling you not to, just but that's, I think that's been like almost my whole career is like, like, oh, I'm not supposed to do it this way, I'll do it this way.
it. Right.
Yeah. But like, people's advice is good too. So like
I was like, no, I get you. I get it. And
yeah.
I would like to know the most incredible interaction you've had with a Magic fan in your career, as far as maybe somebody coming up to you in one of the Comic Cons.
Okay. That was so like, that one's really easy. I wish I could remember the guy's name, his last name at least. Ben, I think it was in Cincinnati. I think it's Ohio, right? So like when Magic was first started in the 90s, they shipped a lot of us around, and we did little tours, right, to like comic book stores. And so we'd go and we'd sign people's cards and stuff. Just, a lot similar, except without the games. Um, for at a card shop in like, I think it was Cincinnati, Ohio, for a little kid. His name's Benjamin. And like, so then went to the other town and like did signings. And it's like 20 years later, I'm at like one of the GPs in Cincinnati, and that same kid came with the card.
Whoa.
Right? Like that I signed like way the frick back in like, whenever, still like in like 94 or whatever. With that, yeah, the exact same kid. And I got to re-sign that card, and he had it, and like, when he came, because he heard that it was going to be me, that I was one of the artists, at the GP at that time. And that just like kind of blew my brain that like it lasted for an individual that long, that sort of interaction. And
Yeah.
that like changed like so much in my head. Like,
That's because he approached you. It was a little boy that you signed for, and then a grown man comes up to you.
yeah, right. Like that's weird. And really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like weird, but
Well, weird means fate. The original
yeah,
definition of it. So
yeah.
it's weird.
Well, then awesome. Thank you. It's weird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's actually
like,
it's
but that's like the most memorable, like out of all of them to me, because and I really like it. Like I miss the GPs with like the Covey thing going on, because that just getting to like talk to everybody is really nice. But that was like one of them that would just stain in my head.
did that make you
Like that,
realize
that original interaction would last that long.
did it make you realize how much of an impact you do have as an artist
Oh,
for
yeah.
Magic?
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's like that really like started like driving it in there for me. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be a moment that I mean, I'd imagine like when you're, thinking back and thinking of the highlight reels of a life,
Yeah.
that's going to be on there.
Big to like, yeah. I just think that's big that like people like allow you to stay with them that long. And like, I had no real idea.
Yeah, you bond with this stuff. It's
Yeah.
impossible not to. I mean, when you discover Magic, and especially if somebody is young, it's almost ingrained into your psyche. Not almost, it is ingrained.
Yeah. I think I'm really lucky to be able to have that sort of like opportunity. It's nice. I never like imagined. Yeah, I never really imagined any of this would have happened.
If you could have one artist, living or dead, over for dinner, who would you have?
Oh, one artist, living or dead, over dinner. And it has to be like painter artist.
Well, it could be. I mean, if you want to broaden it up to any person living
I
or
was
dead,
gonna
I mean.
pretend I could, but like I lost every name in my head. Um, no, I would like.
You
I
can do it.
mean, oh no, I can't. I was just thinking of like different artists. I was like, oh, I like him a lot because he was such a nice guy. Um, but I've known him, so it doesn't count. I would like Edward Beard. Oh no, Edward Gorey. Actually, I would prefer.
And,
I was
and
going to go with Beardsley because I think that would be like the randiest dinner party ever. And it would be a lot of fun, right? But like, yeah, like Edward Gorey is really cool. I always wanted to meet him. But yeah, for the dinner party though, like for a good dinner party, I think Beardsley. Yeah, yeah. For like, like fawning over, I'd go with Edward Gorey. Yeah.
and why specifically Edward Gorey?
Oh, because I loved his books when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would read those in the library, loved him. Yeah, and I mean I read them now, so like I still like him. I like that weird dryness to it and like this, like imaginary Victorian age that like is very like like he died in the late 90s, right?
I'm not
Like
sure.
so yeah, he's a recent guy.
Yeah, he is.
Which is amazes me too, because he has such an old footstep. And I think that would be really cool. But I think he must have been kind of quirky and fun.
Probably. I mean,
yeah.
there's definitely idiosyncrasies. No, idiosyncrasies. I don't know. Idiosyncrasies. I did it.
Idiosyncrasies. Yes.
Try harder.
And I like his coat, like that big fur coat. I want that coat. That would be awesome. Yeah.
I'm sure you could find somebody out there who could get you like that kind of coat. I mean, I'm in Florida, so
I'm sure, but like, yeah, it would be better to like, like yoink it from your dinner guest.
Just get him a little too drunk and then be like,
yeah, like, hey, you never wore that. Like,
you weren't wearing a coat. You're crazy.
No. Yeah,
I'm gonna go.
Cardigan. Yeah, no. But no, like, yeah, I think Beardsley would make a fun party guest. Yeah, that would be like my honest, like one of my honest answers.
I appreciate the honesty. What currently are you working on as far as art goes?
I've got a bunch of stuff for a card game called Sorcery coming out.
Okay.
Sorcery Contested Realms, and I really like the artwork there. I've done like for all these years, right? Which is really nice. I've been working for like Onyx Path and White Wolf, and so like I always have like vampire stuff in the background.
Your vampire stuff is really cool.
Projects. So what?
Your vampire stuff is really cool.
Oh,
very like very dark, and I love the dark stuff.
Yeah. No, thank you. Yeah, I have like a kind of a collection of like short stories and poems and things I've been working on, which they're just weird. I want to pretend they're for kids, and they're like, maybe if your kid's bent or you want to be bent later on. Yeah, they're not really, but yeah, like I was talking to somebody yesterday, texting them, and they were asking me about it. And yeah, I'm working on something called Tall Tales and bedtime stories. And then I started like, it'd be like 3 o'clock at night or 4 o'clock or something. I'm like, oh, sitting outside in the backyard and write something about leaves. I'm like, oh, that's great and creepy. I'll put that in. So it's just a weird collection of like paintings and stories, right? Yeah. And I have stuff like that I'm always like pretending to work on. It's all sorts of like back stuff, and then on a number of projects I can't talk about right now. So which
exciting.
is nice to be able to say, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like probably in a month or two I can go like, oh hey, this
will it be something that we can find out on your website or along those lines? Okay, it's
Definitely
exciting.
like Facebook or Instagram when that happens. My website is like eternally trying to like become a website. Yeah, it's bad. But that's okay. It's like the shop page is the worst, like that's a hard thing to like wrangle.
Oh gosh, you should just have interns do it for you.
I know, right?
I
Like,
mean, like
yeah, I never think that far. Just like, oh, like here's a moment.
that's funny because you were to think that the little kid in you that was selling the drawings of the Playboy images was
Yeah, right.
that's pretty much that's an entrepreneur right there. I mean, like
Yeah,
that's
oh
some.
yeah. But that's like I just want to paint now. It's really sad.
I mean, sad doesn't. I mean, I maybe sad, but at the same time, like not really
Oh
sad
no,
because
it's pretty nice.
your painting has proven to be very useful to
Oh
you.
yeah, no, it's nice. It's just yeah, like yeah, I think the shop page is like things to do when you procrastinate, when you have like other things to
Right.
like like, oh now I can do this.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'll knock off a big chunk of the web page that way.
Oh yeah. I know exactly about that kind of jacking around. I do it myself actually pretty regularly. I'd say
Oh yeah,
my
so what do you do? What do you
uh
do for procrastination?
I was working on the questions for this interview literally 10 minutes before we were about to talk. So
Yeah. Oh no,
and
that's all.
and was that?
Oh, no, go on.
Oh yeah, no, that's my confession is that like I was still like I could ask this one, I could do this. I mean, I had plenty of time to think about it, but I just don't know why I felt the need to wait until the last minute. I think
Oh
sometimes
no, like the
inspiration.
best things like pressure, like the pressure of time, like
Oh
oh
right, yeah. The gun to your
yeah,
head
no,
actually
that's
can make you become creative under duress. It's sort of.
oh
Um,
yeah, like oh my god, this is it.
but that's probably not something as a teacher you would advise. But at the same time, I don't know what is that like in art school? Because
Yeah, you wouldn't advise it, but it happens and it's true. So you probably have to talk about it,
right.
because like, yeah, it's everybody does it. Like
Hmm.
everybody does it, period.
Yeah, but you would.
Sometimes, because there's some things that you're like, you're there all the way through, and some things that you're there, and then you gotta like back off of. And that backing off, I think actually is what creates, whatever like epiphany or like for that project or that like whatever you're doing to get done. I think procrastination is part of the job.
That's true.
But it's just you can't rely on it necessarily or like overinvest in
That's
procrastination.
that's sage advice. That is sage advice. What's
That
that
makes
the big
sense.
painting behind you with the orange clouds of? I'm just
Oh,
curious
this
because.
thing. It is for a project. It's for a tarot card like project.
Really?
I'm
Like
dealing
actual
with
tarot?
like the seven sins.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
like a real like a real tarot deck or something that it incorporates.
It's kind of a variation of a tarot deck, because
Do you?
like the tarot deck has like what, like 72 or 48 cards.
It's got a lot.
78.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a boatload. But yeah, this one has like a base of 7. So it's limited. So it's based off of the 7 deadly sins.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is
So
something that you are like it's a project that you're doing, or is this something that is going to be a released or something like that?
it's a long running. It's been a long running project. I haven't like jumped on it as much as I should. I mean, I have illustrations for, like I think like 4 of the other illustrations. So, but it's when 2 people work together, it's called a what?
When two people synergy? No, it's a duo, a duet.
It's kind of like a duo. Yeah, so I'm doing this with another artist actually.
Oh, okay.
I'm not quite sure if I can like talk that much about it, especially being that I've been so slack on it.
Oh,
So yeah, like so much of it is me. That's kind of rough.
I hopefully I
To
didn't. I
admit.
hopefully I didn't get you
No,
into
I
too
love it.
much
Like I
trouble.
love that it's seen, because it's also like it's the guilt that gets me going.
Right? You should finish
Oh,
that. You should finish
I
that.
know.
I mean,
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
I mean, Tisk
I've been like
tisk.
sitting on. I think I've got other boards prepped for them, and they're like half the size because I
Yeah,
was
because
like, oh, it's too big.
it's so
Um,
massive. It's
yeah,
hard
so
not to
it'll be
notice.
fun when I like finally sit back to it. Uh, yeah, I've just been bad about it, so I
If it
apologize to my
no, if
friend
it
out
makes you feel
loud.
any better, you're not the first magic artist who has apologized to me for not doing work that no, you know what I mean. Like I think
Oh yeah,
Kieran Yenner, when I talked to him, he was
I
like, I
love
didn't.
Kieran.
He's great, yeah. And he said the
Yeah.
same, pretty much the exact same answer that you said about like things that I should have done that I'm not doing. And he apologized, and I was like, you don't gotta say sorry to me.
Oh yeah, no. I think those are like almost apologies to ourselves in weird ways,
That is
or
true.
very much to the other artists. By the way, I'm sorry that I've been like so slow on this one.
What
Oh,
do you
because
what do you mean?
the other artists that I'm working with.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm just saying like out loud.
I got you.
Yeah,
He's
um,
very sorry, is what he said.
very sorry about it. And then yeah, like even for myself, but yeah, it's gotta like I want to get it done and like the other bits too. But it's kind of nice having a loom over there as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, it
It looks
provides a
nice too.
visual. Oh no, thank you.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
mean
like that
it's
one.
I can tell my mom would like that. She's very into the orange and reds and yellows and that
Oh
kind of
yeah.
stuff. Like definitely up her alley. But I don't know why I just spilled that information. It's not like
No, that's okay.
it was just it just kind of I just had a little bit of verbal diarrhea. So
That's better verbal diarrhea than the other diarrhea.
yeah, exactly. Or verbal constipation, because that just would mean
Oh
that
yeah.
you're mute.
Yes, that's true.
Um, is there anything else that you would like to talk about before I let you go? Anything as
Hmm.
far as making people aware of?
Oh, definitely check out Sorcery Contested Realms. Um, that's the one I can like I can like 100% go like, oh, check this out, because there's a
Mhm.
lot of really great artists on, a lot of the old artists too, like Melissa Benson's on that one. Jeff, oh sorry, I just lost that, but and Jeff should like call me up and tease me at this point. um
Well, I hope he does, because that means he watched this, and
oh
that's good
yeah,
for me.
me too, because I just like had the biggest brain fart. It's so sad. Oh, but a lot of no, like ridiculously sad. But it's all like hand art. There's no digital to it. Um, yeah, and so I'm kind of excited to see everything coming out of that one. Uh, yeah, those are that's the main one that I can talk about at the moment, or I think that's the main one I can talk about at the moment. So
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah,
Well, and
those are contested
congratulations.
realm.
Huh?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh
Never
no,
mind.
it's always so tough with the Zoom calls, because it's not the same as doing a face to face, but it appears to be face to face.
Yeah, I have trouble looking at my little tiny head. It freaks me out,
It
right?
does? Yeah, I guess.
Oh yeah, it weirds me out. Um,
Really?
yeah, I don't know why.
Your head
Oh, by
looks
the way, Jeff
completely normal.
Mingus.
Oh, wait,
Um,
Jeff, what?
I said, by the way, Jeff Mingus.
Okay.
I totally brain farted Jeff's last name, and I was like, oh, that's the worst.
Oh, you
Um,
unfarted it though.
'cause-
It
yeah,
came back.
sorta, yeah. Edit that out, please. Or just Mingus in the background. That would be better. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, exactly. You do what all like a lot of people do that are in the arts. They do the long pause, and they make
yeah.
themselves seem very
Yeah, it makes it
thoughtful.
seem thoughtful, right? Like there's nothing going on, and that's
It's
the
just the sound of
problem. It's
wind
just
happening.
yeah. I think that's like that long pause is like a deer in the headlights.
Hmm.
Going like I have the information, but not really.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
teasing it out.
yeah. It- yeah,
Well,
I wish we would tease out quicker some days.
yeah, well,
Um,
I mean, what's been going on? I mean, the pandemic has left a lot of our brains in shambles. There's all sorts of studies coming out of what the isolation has been doing to our brains, because we're humans that are hardwired for
oh
communication.
yeah,
And
for social interaction, right? Like
yeah, we are basically going through like torture, slow torture is psychological from
I
this. So
believe that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel for like the teenagers and stuff right now because that's got to be like the worst.
it's
Um,
appalling. It breaks my heart because you only get that time once, and these
yeah,
formative years, they're just being stolen.
yeah, it's really, yeah, it's kind of bizarre.
Yeah,
And I know like there's been different times in history that's been worse and like better and like all, but like yeah, for right now it's like rough for folks, man.
yeah. I'm not sure
Um,
if there's been any historical things that happened where people were not really allowed to see each other person to person, though. You know what I mean?
that's that's true. Well, maybe like the plague, the straight
Well,
up plague.
I mean, the plague, you couldn't see them in person, but like you couldn't see them because they were dying of the plague. It's not like you couldn't.
Exactly, right? Like, yeah, like in the war, I guess we all like people hid together, and like
Yeah,
that doesn't count as good, but
but
you
at
know, they're
trauma bonding is
together.
better than no bonding at all.
Yeah, like that's not like saying anything just to go like I'm sure that could be like twisted.
I don't think that anybody. I mean, if anybody tries to twist anything in this interview, I will twist them.
Oh yeah, yeah, but like yeah, I mean this is like really like messed up for like people right now, like for everybody.
It is. It
Um,
is most definitely.
but
Well, I
and then you know
appreciate.
coming
Oh,
out of winter, I think that's the worst part. But you're in Florida,
I'm in
right?
Florida. We don't actually have one of those. We have
Yeah, I
cold
hate you.
days,
Um,
and when I say
yeah.
cold, I mean like it gets down to 60.
Oh, no, that's too bad. Do you the part of Florida where you're at, do you have like
Naples. I'm
bear
in
and
Naples.
Naples? Okay.
Yeah.
Do
What do
you have bear and alligator?
we have both? Yes. Bears
Awesome.
actually can come up to their in our neighborhoods because we're so close to the Everglades.
That is awesome.
And
Um,
they
yeah,
have
we
to be
just have like
removed.
yeah. Well, I don't know, like you. Yeah, bears. I
Bears.
really like bears.
There's bears. There's cougars. There
Yeah.
is
Oh, you guys have cougars too.
yeah
Like you
cougars
told me
and
when the
yeah the Florida Panthers. We have the Panther
yeah. Oh,
crossings.
that's right. And the newly imported boa constrictor, right? Like the mega boa constrictor in the
Oh
Everglades.
yeah, I haven't seen one of those yet.
No,
Don't
but
want
maybe
to.
no.
Yeah, the bears are funny.
Um,
They're
yeah.
funny.
Do you have like a home piano? Like bears like pianos.
Oh, well, I have an electric piano, but I'm on a second story, so they're
Oh,
probably
okay,
not
good.
gonna.
Okay.
But
Yeah, like if you're on like the first story with a piano, you could expect a bear, I think.
that would be a crazy social experiment. Be like, I'm just going to invite a whimsical bear to come in to smash my piano to pieces and
Yeah,
then claw my
no.
face
I
off.
think they play like just very well.
They
Um,
like Tori Amos, yeah.
oh yeah, just like Tori Amos.
They can play like one with each hand.
Oh, I would like that.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah, no, I'm a fan of bears. I think they're
they're really cool. I mean, the whole notion of like the magic circle from bears, I love that. Where
oh
if
yeah.
like if it's something is not in the magic circle, the perimeter of where they're living, they don't give a shit. But
Oh, that's
put
actually cool.
if you put like if anything comes even remotely close, like an inch inside of it, they'll destroy you. But
Really?
if they accept you, like if it's one of their cubs,
Yeah,
they don't care.
it's totally okay.
And it's I like that. I always thought like if my spirit animal is something, it would be a bear because I that is sort of how I function. Like people who
Oh,
I
nice.
accept into my space, they are welcome to come within. But if it's somebody that I'm not interested in,
Yeah,
I will wipe your face off with my paw.
I think that's fair. I think that's a fair way to go.
Yeah, I mean they're
Yeah,
cool
no, I'm with
animals.
you
They are
there.
cool. They're very cool. I mean, I don't want to like run into one personally, but
No,
I,
me
I
neither. Like I like to pretend and like maybe tell a story that I do, but like no, I don't want to.
yeah,
Yeah.
apex predators. They're definitely apex predators for a reason, and we might
No,
be one
yeah,
too.
right.
But
Um,
we're only that way because of our brains. We don't have any
yeah.
ability to kick any physical ass in nature.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh, like so if you've got like the have you had run-ins with alligators then?
Yeah, they're all over the place. I mean, if you go into the Everglades, if it
Yeah.
was amazing. One day I was in there and we went to this place called Corkscrew Park, and it was a cold day, and that's the best day to go to the Everglades because that's when everything comes out. And
Oh,
I was
cool.
there, and a guy had like a 7 foot long lens, and it was huge, and he had it out, and I was like, well, what are you doing in here? And he was from National Geographic. He had come to take pictures of brand new owls that had just been born, and they
Oh,
were
wow.
awake. It was 10 in the morning, and these baby owls were in their nest, and I got to look through his camera and see them.
Yeah.
Nuts. And the mother owl was just like, and it was really great. But and then right to the right there was a giant sandhill crane sunning next to an
Yeah.
alligator, and it didn't care because they were all so cold. They just wanted to be in the sunlight. So you see like
That's
birds
kind of
just
cool.
chilling out next to alligators because they're both like, well, no beef here. We just both want sun.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah,
Ah, man. That's totally cool.
it's definitely something I could see you being inspired by as an artist.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been to Florida a couple of times. That would be like, I can't imagine like having that much interaction like with like alligators and stuff though. Like,
They're intense. I mean, you don't
yeah.
again, you don't want to have that much interaction with them. But I will say one of the coolest things that I ever got to do was I got to pet a Florida panther. That was
Oh, shut up. That's cool.
Yeah, it was medicated. It was going to be going. It was going to be taken in to have surgery that day, and it
Yeah.
was we were in like 6th grade, so it was years ago. This is probably not okay now, but back then it was in the 90s.
Yeah, right. Like, but like in 6th grade, it's medicated, it's a little slowed down. He's not gonna maul you too bad.
Yeah, and we all got to pet her, him or her, I can't remember, but the vibration of the purring was like an
Yeah.
engine. It was like
Wow, that would be cool.
it was insane. I
That would be
definitely
cool.
you get the majesty and the whole like realization of, oh man, this thing could kill
How
me.
was it? Like how out was the cat?
The cat was loving it. I was just imagine a giant house cat.
So it was still kind of awake.
Oh, it was awake. It was awake. It was just sort of I guess maybe like sort of Xanaxed out. I mean, they
Yeah,
walked
no,
it
no,
in.
no, I get you, but like I'm trying to imagine like little kids, like
Oh yeah, no, I'm
in a
sure
panther.
I'm sure that it was such a bad idea looking back on it.
It could go south a little bit.
Yeah, it really. I mean, I'm glad it happened. It changed my
But
like.
that's
It's
so cool.
It was so cool. I'm so glad
Yeah.
none of us were killed.
Yeah, ow, like it was a little like killed. Like a little animal killing, that's okay.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
no, it's good that it wasn't, but that's like really cool.
Yeah, it would have been a story either way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it'd be great either. Probably better the way it came out.
I agree. I think so. I
Yeah.
do believe that maulings of children probably is on the less popular end. I would go.
It's frowned upon.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
You know,
Mauling of children is
so
frowned upon.
it is. It's frowned upon. I do not support that
No,
at
no.
all, unless the company pays me money to, and then I'm like, okay, fine. Sure.
Oh, that's true. That's when it is okay.
Yeah, when I'm being a shill, which
Yeah.
like please bring it on. Well, I do appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today, and
It's my pleasure.
and it's been great, and thank you so much for your time.
Oh no, I'm more than happy to. Thank you. Like, thanks for reaching out.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Well,
I hope everything was good. Not too like wonky.
wonky. No, look,
Wonky.
wonky is if it's wonky, that means it's authentic, and if it's authentic, it means it's good.
Well then, awesome. No, I have really like wonky.
Wonky is good. We're like,
Yeah.
thank you for the wonky.
Yeah, like if you like have other questions or anything, like shoot me a line. Like I'm always happy.
I may write you about some of the images that I'm going to use, only because if you had any higher res stuff that I could use, because I snatch everything from the web, but your pieces do deserve to be a little to be seen in higher res. So if you don't mind me doing that after the interview,
no, not at all. Like yeah, just shoot a line to me. I'm more than happy to help.
Okay, awesome. I appreciate it so much. And if you think of anything too that I need, you can also let me know. And any images of of the games that you were talking about, like.
Oh yeah. I'll send you a couple of those.
Because I juxtapose everything in. Well, I don't. My editor does, but everything that we talk about, it shows up on the screen while we're talking about it.
Yeah. Just resend me, shoot me a line. I'll send you stuff over.
Okay.
Like, it would be my pleasure to help.
All right. Well, thank you again, and you have a good rest of your day.
All right, you too. You have a good, I guess it's evening for you, isn't it? We're
It
coming
is.
into it.
It is nighttime behind my green screen.
Well, have a good night.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it's already been one. You know.
right on. Right on. All right. You
All
be
right,
good, man.
you too.
Adios.
Bye.
Wasn't he just so chill and endearing? What's great about the artists that I interview is how they are all as humble as all get out. I know humble. I'm probably the most humble person that has ever been. And amazing. And emotionally stable. Cameraman, aren't I humble and amazing and emotionally stable? See, my cameraman laughs because that is a silly question. Of course I'm all those things, and more. Fun aside, thank you, Drew, for the interview, and that is all for now. So until next time, I got a scoop.